Welcome to the report for Tiger Mountain, ladies and gentlemen. We're going to talk about our dearly departed Premier of Victoria, Daniel Andrews, who recently came out and said we hit him in relation to his accident. So we're going to talk about that tonight on the report from Tiger Mountain. All right, ladies and gentlemen, we've got the little situation with Daniel Andrews. Obviously, we all knew there was something a bit dodgy going on there with this accident Daniel Andrews had, where him and his wife Kathleen had an incident where they hit a biker, Ryan Meuleman, and you know, I actually had an interesting thought about that. You know what I mean? Because one of the interesting things about that we know about the cabal, the globalists, the secret rulers, all this stuff, is that they use blackmail, ladies and gentlemen. You know what I mean? So one of the reasons, that Dan Andrews might have been given the nod as the Premier is because they had something, particularly during the time of the pandemic, is because they had something particularly juicy on him in the blackmail department, which is essentially this accident. I mean, they probably knew the truth about it. I don't know, maybe he was drunk, maybe his wife was drunk. I know that neither of them were breathalyzed, which is very unusual in a situation like this. Obviously, the wheels of the Labor Party went in to protect one of their rising stars. This was kind of covered up. But I think the significance of this event, and actually I have almost some sympathy with Daniel Andrews, because I don't know what happened. Maybe the story is that, Daniel Andrews was turning the corner, and Daniel Andrews said this kid came out of nowhere and just slammed into him, But it's probably the case that it was negligent driving, and that there was this biker, and either they didn't see him, or for whatever reason they turned into him and hit him. So in a sense they are to blame. That is, I would say, what happened. And, it was probably Daniel Andrews, or it could have been his wife even. So, they have something on the family, so to speak. They have something on the Andrews family. And I imagine they said to him, listen, there's this pandemic coming, there's going to be these lockdowns, and I want, in Victoria, the world's longest lockdown, because Australia's a pretty gullible country, and, the cabal really want to run it up the flagpole, see how long they can lock a city down. And, they locked us down, for close to 2 years. It wasn't the entire time. We were let out occasionally for a month or two here and there, but it was almost 2 years of continuous lockdowns, and it was an extraordinary time. It was actually a very interesting time to be alive in Melbourne, because it sort of forced you into certain kind of solitary contemplation. Obviously I'm somebody who's a book collector. I have so many movies that I could permanently run a cinema out of this place. So I actually quite enjoyed lockdown, but I did resent the fact that it's kind of forced on people, and I knew a lot of people were suffering. It was obviously something that caused a mental health crisis in young people, caused a mental health crisis in just about everybody in some way or another. People were abusing alcohol, people were abusing drugs off the charts in that time, and it was just extraordinary what was going on. And so I think it's very significant, this accident, and I think it's interesting that it's coming out now. So I would say that Daniel Andrews is culpable. Maybe they're going to throw him under the bus. There's some talk that he'll be put in jail. Some people in the freedom movement lock him up, a la Hillary Clinton. I can't see that happening. Maybe it'll come out that he was culpable, and he, might receive some slap on the wrist from the magistrate or something. Obviously he was deeply unpopular for all this lockdowns, and obviously got the statue going to be built to him and everything, which I think is actually a plus for the freedom movement, because you just know people are going to vandalise that thing every week. That's hilarious. I'm not advocating it, but we just know it's going to happen. So I think it's a win that having a statue of Daniel Andrews, because people are going to be dressing that up for time immemorial, ladies and gentlemen, unless they build an electric fence around it. So, look, I think it's very interesting what's happening, and let's follow this case. And I know I talk about this on the Sam Newman show, so let's see what happens, and let's see what it reveals. But it almost reveals, in my mind, that Andrews was in some way blackmailed over this event, and that's how they were able to control him, and that's the significance of the event. So there it is, ladies and gentlemen, the report from Tiger Mountain for this week. Thank you.